If you've been noticing a distinctly new profile at the Portland International Jetport and are more than just a little bit curious about the final outcome, well, stay tuned as Local Discovery brings you the PWM expansion. I'm Kristen Martin, and for the next half hour, we'll be highlighting some of the new travel features available thanks to this new terminal expansion here at PWM. From integrated main elements and architectural design to high-tech security, quicker gate access, and so much more. You'll learn just how this project is going to benefit Maine and the thousands of visitors who enter our beautiful state every day. In order to see the big picture behind the terminal expansion, we need to first understand how the Jetport is being used, what travelers saw as areas for improvement, and what goals were set out to achieve during this project. Well, in order to get these answers, we're meeting with Paul Bradbury, the airport director. Hey, Paul.
Hi, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. So tell me, what were you seeing that led you to believe that this was a really good time for a project of this scope?
Oh, it was absolutely necessary. We had double stacking of gates in the out on the airport apron, so we needed additional gate capacity first and foremost. Also, security. Many changes have happened in airport security. We needed to add additional lane capacity to the terminal checkpoint. Then, all inbound and outbound traffic was going through the same piece of real estate in the security screening checkpoint and the exit from the gate concourse.
All right, well, typically then, who is making use of this Jetport?
Oh, the demographics are varied and they do vary widely, but they're numerous. I mean, we are the gateway to the region and for much of the state of Maine. It's both leisure travelers and business travelers. I like to say it's not by chance that many of the largest businesses in the states are located a stone's throw from the airport.
All right, well, when we're talking about the goals then, the big picture, what you wanted to achieve in this project, what would you say were the priority goals?
You know, the first and foremost was to separate out the inbound and outbound, capacity flows through the terminal. So we wanted to separate those. We wanted to add the additional gate capacity. We wanted to get additional screening checkpoint. Now we were absolutely limited to 4 lanes of screening checkpoint. So it was a critical portion to get that 5th lane to make sure that we stayed a safe, efficient connection to the air transportation system.
Well, the new addition here at the Jetport is incredible because it gives us an opportunity to build out a space that is optimal for our security environment. Keep in mind, when TSA came to be, we needed to retrofit ourselves, our personnel, and our equipment into an existing checkpoint. Here we have the opportunity to build something that keeps in mind all of the various security functions that we need to perform. So TSA has been working to upgrade the screening technology for a number of years, and we're excited to feature new technology here at the Jetport with the terminal expansion that will include a partial inline system. And what that means is instead of having passengers bring their bags over to a TSA security officer right there in the lobby, they will be able to turn their bag over when they get their boarding pass to the airline agent. It will be placed right on a conveyor belt and it will go behind the scenes via the conveyor belt, and it will get screened through our explosive detection systems kind of behind the scenes at the airport. Security is always TSA's #1 priority, but we realize that customer service is incredibly important too. We want passengers to have a positive traveling experience despite the somewhat inconvenience that's associated with the security screening process. The officers at the Portland Jetport have a great reputation for being professional and courteous to travelers, and we want that to continue. And we look forward to opening this new terminal and giving passengers even a greater travel experience.
So when thinking about this expansion then, was there an overriding feel or look that you were going for?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we really wanted this new terminal to say sense of place, to say the geography that we live in, that we're here. We wanted people to know we're in Maine. you're in Maine. You've arrived at your destination, which is truly, Portland and the state of Maine. So there were many features that we wanted to introduce. I could say that the old and existing terminal could have been anywhere, but this new terminal with its wood and its natural finishes and its sustainable design truly speak to the values and the nature of Maine. So we're very pleased, and I think everybody will be ecstatic with the new terminal.
One of the major considerations was making this really feel like it's a part of Maine and unique to Maine and really conveys the Maine brand. So I think when you speak to most people and ask, what they first think of when they think of Maine, their first impression, they'll probably say the natural environment. So it was important for us to really have the materials and the architecture speak to Maine, which we've done by use of these glulam beams that you see, which will really impart a great warmth into the terminal, really unique to terminals of this size. So some of the design components we've tried to draw upon images of the shipbuilding history of the Portland area, so the Bath Iron Works. So what you see here with what we call the tree columns, they're very robust, honest architecture. So things aren't really covered up and clad. You see the wood beams, you have an immediate understanding of the structure of it. You see the concrete floor you're standing on is part of the structure. It's not covered up with an extra layer of flooring. So it's very honest and true and sort of apparent to everyone, the architecture and the structure of the space. Paul Bradbury had this great vision to really transform this airport, and I think this building is a huge step. People will come, they'll see the large spaces, they'll see more room, they'll see the warm glow of the wood. I think folks will be surprised with the scale of the space and the sort of generous amenities and that sort of thing. I think it'll be a great travel experience.
So thinking about this local feel that you're creating in the expansion, are you introducing some new local restaurants or some other amenities that really reflect Maine?
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of our top priorities in the new concession program. Let's go take a look.
All right, great, thanks. Yeah, so this is really nice.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a really beautiful
cool.
facility. Great, thank you so much.
Thank you. So here we are at the Shipyard Brewport. It was really critical for us when we were planning the new concession program for the terminal expansion, and even what we did with the existing, to really stick with the sense of place, so that the concession program said Maine and spoke to the greater Portland region. So part of that was working with local vendors like Shipyard and Fred Forsley to come up with a continuation of what has been a very good brand with us here, and that's Shipyard, a locally brewed beer and a very recognizable product.
Shipyard started in Kennebunkport in 1992, and in 1994 we located a larger brewery here in Portland. And then at that time, the Jetport was looking to theme a pub. Host Marriott was a concessionaire. They contacted us, and we came up with the idea of doing a Shipyard Brewport. And they ran with it, and we supported it, and it's been a huge success since then. Host management takes our brand imagery and our products and features them in their location at the airport, and it brings out really who we are, a locally made Maine beer. And they feature it. They have some other beers, but ours are the ones they feature, and it provides for the imagery of who we are, and it brings the traveler close to Maine the minute they get off the airplane. I think that they've stuck with a local product at the Jetport. Even though it's a new and improved Jetport, we're still there, and that keeps the local feeling. Even though it's a brand new Jetport connected to the garage, people will still be able to get their shipyard before they get on that flight like they've been doing for the last 10 years.
And we're also really excited about the new partnership, a brand new one with this concession program, and that's with Linda Bean and in her Linda Bean Perfect Maine Lobster Roll.
Yeah.
So here at the airport now, you'll be able to get lobsters to go, as well as the Perfect Maine Lobster Roll by Linda Bean, who's really worked with the local Maine lobstermen to bring in a new restaurant and get that good Maine product into the restaurants throughout the state of Maine. And really, it is critical that we offer a product that says Maine. In the summer, we do over 200,000 passengers a month, and one thing they really want to see or have is a lobster roll and something from Maine.
I was privileged to grow up in Maine. I was born here, and I live on the shore. I've gotten involved with buying lobsters, which is Maine's biggest fishing industry, and we now process lobsters and we make products out of lobster, frozen, fresh, and I've started a restaurant business. The restaurants that I've started are all focused on Maine lobster because we're trying to help the fishermen stay on the water in Maine. It's hard times for them, and it's a small boat fishery, so we'd like to emphasize lobster everywhere we go. But it's all Maine, all the time, from trap to table with the lobster and from the farm to the table with vegetables. So at the Jetport, we're extremely excited to bring this whole concept as a local food place for people coming into Maine for the first time to have their perhaps first lobster. I think a lot of people think of Maine and the name bean and the word lobster together. They're all iconic Maine words, and I'm very fortunate to have the bean name, the lobster business, and to be coming to the airport to serve it to people as perhaps the first food they have in Maine.
Now, not only can they have that lobster roll, but they can have packaged lobsters to go and beer to go.
Yeah, now Shipyard and Linda Beans are two really great iconic Maine names. What other concessions do you have here?
Sure. I mean, another iconic brand of Maine is Down East and Down East Magazine. So we'll have a new Down East Emporium to have for our news and gift shop. Then we'll have Cool as a Moose for apparel. Another great and wonderful local Maine product. Beyond that, we understand that people are also looking for national brands. So we do have Starbucks coffee. We will have in the new place a Burger King, actually, in the new.
Kids
so for
will
those that need that fast food and it's something that's recognizable and quick, we'll have that as well. And then beyond that, we'll have a Great American Bagel with Seattle's best coffee.
Oh wow, that sounds good. Now tell me a little bit about this touch tank that you're introducing. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's the touch tank will be very close to the Linda Bean restaurant, and it'll allow people to experience firsthand some Maine aquaculture. You know, see some of the things that are right off the coast of Maine in the cold Atlantic here in the airport. So again, it all ties everything together to really speak to what is Maine. And that's a lot of the reason that people are coming for leisure and business, is they really want to be connected to Maine. The other part is we also have several additional amenities. We've continued our free Wi-Fi through the new terminal expansion, so we know that our business travelers and our leisure travelers really need to stay connected. Here, it's free and high speed. You'll be able to keep it up. Beyond that, we have, you know, plugins galore. All this personal electronics takes a lot of power. And that's been a big change in airports, but we want to accommodate and make sure our travelers have an efficient and safe connection to the aviation transportation system.
Great, well it sounds like you have a perfect plan all figured out. Is it okay if we go and take a look at the new expansion?
Absolutely, let's
All
go.
right, let's throw these back. Paul, I have to say, this is very impressive. It's so open and bright and airy.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, the architecture here has simply exceeded our expectations in many fronts. It is certainly intuitive wayfinding. All the glass reinforces where you need to be next. So it really does make an efficient transportation terminal. But beyond that, there's much more to the terminal than just an efficient transportation terminal. It's also a real milestone in sustainable design for this area in the region. We're very pleased to say that we're applying for LEED Gold within the USGBC, U.S. Green Building Council. So what does that mean? Well, one of the biggest capstones of that is our geothermal system. So we'll be able to actually save up to 50,000, the equivalent of 50,000 gallons of diesel fuel a year, or number 2 fuel oil, to heat this building. And that happens through we add or take heat from the ground through 120 wells drilled 500 feet deep. So it's just incredible. But the geothermal system was part of a Vail grant that we're very thankful to have some leadership from people such as Shelley Pingree involved in sustainable design.
This is a critical energy change for the state of Maine. Here we are in a state that's very dependent on oil. We send a lot of money out of state every year by paying for oil that comes from foreign countries, and so anything we can do to invest in renewable energy, and this is one of those projects. This was available to the airport because of the stimulus package, so when we authorized the stimulus bill, the money was in there for this, and Maine happens to be one of the first states in the country to build a geothermal system like this in an airport. So we're leading the pack on energy innovation, and we're going to save a tremendous amount of oil for our state. Over 100,000 gallons of oil won't be used because of this. It will save money in the long run. Geothermal conservation and the energy systems around it is one of the new kinds of technology that are being employed in green buildings across the state of Maine. This building is a real leader because it's so large, so it's able to use this technology but heat a big public space. It means the public's going to learn more about it. We're going to save tax dollars because of it. And I think it's one of those things that's going to start to change the way that we use energy in this state.
Were you able to incorporate other sustainable practices as well?
Oh yes, I mean part of the LEED Gold certification is much more than just the geothermal. We use local materials, we recycled, we've used LED fixtures, very efficient lighting fixtures. The low temperature radiant heat, even if we hadn't gone for the geothermal system, is really all part of that function. And then even in operations, we'll be doing our single sort for waste and trash removal, so that we will, all of those paper products that are generated in a building like this, in a large commercial building like this, will all go into a single source system and be recycled at EcoMaine.
Now, talking about recycling, I understand that you have a new facility on property that you're actually able to recycle the icing materials?
Absolutely, that is really another incredible get, and we're only into our second year of that operating. But what we can do is capture up to 70% of the aircraft de-icing fluid, recycle it, and it can get sold on the secondary market. It's like a big distillery to boil off water and de-icing fluid, and then it becomes another usable product again. It does not go into the waterways around Portland. I mean, we capture it, recycle it.
Now, you mentioned LEED Gold certification. It seems to me that at an airport, that would be a really hard goal to achieve.
Absolutely. We are one of only 2 airports in the country that have applied for LEED Gold certification.
Well, what qualifies us for a LEED Silver or Gold is anywhere from high efficiency water fixtures, a reduced stormwater infrastructure, so we have sheet water going into retention ponds. We have tinted glass on the south side, much darker on the south side than the north side. We have energy management system, high efficiency fixtures. We have LEDs as well as CFLs, compact fluorescent lights, radiant flooring, and of course the building envelope is very enhanced such that we retain heat, both gain heat and losing heat depending on what season. Where we are standing at the moment is in the mechanical room of the new terminal expansion, and to my left here we have a multi-stack unit, which is our heat pump. It's one of the largest that they've ever made. There's only 2 that they've ever made. This is one of them. And to my right here we have 2 very large pumps that service the geothermal field. What you can't see is the centrifugal chiller to my left, which is high efficiency, the highest efficiency chiller you could get.
Thinking about sustainability and these practices that you've been able to implement, it kind of leads my brain to think about economics and how you are able to finance such a large project during these, kind of questionable times in our economy. So what is the economic impact of this new Jetport expansion?
This expansion has been great for the economy of Maine in a downtime. So let's go together and we'll get a bird's eye view of this project, and I'll go through all of those details.
All right, great.
Let's go.
Paul, you are absolutely right. This view up here gives us a really nice perspective of the size of this project.
Yes, it is. It's a wonderful project. It added 137,000 square feet to the terminal, and you really get a bird's eye view here of what will become and is the new gateway to the Portland Jetport.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the funding behind this, because Maine is a relatively small state, and this is big.
Yes, we do over 1.8 million passengers a year, and the reason I mention that is because this is user funded. So the people that are flying in and out of the terminal are who are paying for it. This was not supported by any local or state tax dollars.
Oh wow, that's really good to know. Now when we think about future economic impact of what this facility will have for our state, what can we expect?
Oh, you know, airports, they are 100%, they are economic engines for their region and for the entire state when we look at Portland and the Portland Jetport. So what they can expect is additional service, the new gates, and what does that mean? It means our businesses and our leisure market, of which tourism is one of the largest markets in the state of Maine, will have an airport that can connect them to the national domestic air transportation system.
Yeah, that seems really important, actually.
It is, it's critical.
All right, now when we talk about the construction that went on here, I'm sure that's really valuable when you think about the number of people you were able to employ during questionable times in our economy.
Oh, you know, this was a win-win in terms of the project. It was a win-win for economic development for the region. We like to look at it as 90 to 100 actual boots on the ground. We're here throughout the entire period, nearly 22 months of construction. But then the airport is also an economic engine for the region, even when we're not in construction. Our studies have shown that the airport supports direct and indirect $868 million annually, which is 11,500 jobs supported just by this airport. And I think we can say that it's, you know, not by sheer chance that many large businesses are all within 30 minutes of the Portland Jetport.
Turner Construction started work in April 2010 on the new terminal expansion. To date, we have had approximately 550 workers put through our Worker and Safety Orientation Program. Today, there is 150 workers working in the finishing stages of the project as we head toward our October 1st completion date. We were happy to employ 550 workers during this 18 months of economic uncertainty. Of the 550 workers on site, approximately 75% of them are state of Maine residents.
The expansion of the Jetport is important not just for Portland, but for the entire region and indeed the whole state of Maine. The Jetport, for millions of visitors and business travelers, is the gateway to our state. We have thousands of people traveling through each year to visit our scenic places, to enjoy our lakes, our seacoasts, our skiing resorts, our autumn leaves, and the way the Jetport looks creates an impression. What I think a lot of people don't realize is what an economic engine the Jetport is. I know from talking to businesses that having a good airport nearby that offers frequent and convenient flights and a level of comfort is really important to their decision to create jobs in our state. So I think that this expansion is going to be a real economic plus to the entire state.
All right, well, this has been a really fun project to watch evolve, you know, through the last few months. Is there something coming down the future that we can expect?
Well, what I can say is this project is here, and what it will do is help us develop additional service and bring in potentially additional airlines. So we're really excited, and keep watching.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your time
care.
today, Paul. I know you're really busy, so I'll let you run along.
Thank you. Take care.
You bet. All right, so I'm going to head over to the new facility right now and meet up with Greg Hughes. He's the marketing director here at the Jetport, and he's going to give us an insider's kind of scoop on what we can expect for future travel. So Greg, we're standing here right now in front of the new ticketing area, and I think that what people really want to know is how this new addition is going to increase their travel opportunities.
Kristen, the people are going to love this place. It is fantastic. Number one, real simple to move around, real easy to see where you're going, and it's just convenient, and speed is going to be what they're going to see in the future.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about destinations, because I know that PWM is really working towards a lot of nonstop flights.
Right. Right now we have 7 great carriers. We go to 14 nonstop destinations, and many of them offer onward flights just about anywhere in the world they want to go. So there's a lot that's here, but with the 3 new gates, then we're going to have the potential to add not only more service with the existing carriers, but talk to new carriers.
Well, as someone who's been involved in the travel industry in southern Maine for many years, over 30 now, I've seen a lot of changes come at the Jetport and a lot of improvements. This is the ultimate improvement that will allow business travelers to leave Maine much more efficiently, lower cost. For vacation travelers, it creates many more itineraries to choose from and destinations with which to plan a vacation. So I think we've reached the point where we've got, the facility that will suit our needs for many years to come.
I think it can't do anything but help tourism in the state and help attract more people to the state. It makes it easier for them to get in and out of the state. The expansion will bring more flights to and from. It'll increase the number of nonstop and connecting flights. And as long as we have that advantage, and as well as the advantage of the recent award that we're one of the most reasonably priced airports in this region, that it can't do anything but help.
All right, now that sounds really exciting to me. So this expansion actually allows the Portland Jetport the opportunity to approach other carriers and invite them to our area.
Right. We were choked with the old terminal. There was no room for expansion. There were no gates, and this gives us a whole new window of opportunity for all of our customers.
Now, I fly in and out of this Jetport all the time for leisure, but it seems to me like it's designed really well for business travel.
The business traveler is going to love it. They're going to park on the 3rd level of the garage, come directly into the TSA level. If for some reason they forgot their boarding card, there'll be a common use kiosk right there so they can get it. Zip through TSA, down to the gate level, and they're gone. So it's going to be real easy for the business traveler.
Now, this Jetport has a really wonderful reputation for being welcoming, friendly, small, kind of an intimate feel. Are you going to be able to maintain that?
Oh, definitely. And I think because we're not crammed together, and the problem with the existing building, the inbound and the outbound passengers merged together, and at times during the day it just made it extremely busy and extremely crowded. Now we have the outbound passenger on one side of the airport, the inbound passenger on the other. Definitely much easier.
All right, now personally speaking, what are you most excited about for this expansion?
I think what I love is the spaciousness, the open windows, the openness. It's something that we didn't have in the old terminal, and people are going to be amazed when they see this wonderful new facility.
Maine is a dynamic, growing state that is constantly looking for ways to meet the needs of its residents, businesses, and visitors. The Portland International Jetport's recent terminal expansion is helping Maine to accomplish this goal by increasing travel opportunities and the ease of travel for both business and leisure travelers. And PWM is doing it all in typical Maine fashion, with a welcoming smile, a unique local feel, and an eye toward the environment and sustainable practices. Now, if you'd like more information on this project, you can go to the Jetport's website. It's portlandjetport.org. Or if you'd like to see the program that you've just seen for a second or maybe even a 3rd time, go to our website. It's localdiscovery.tv. I'm Kristen Martin. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Local Discovery. And remember, you're on your way with PWM.